Hey everybody, welcome to the Codename SISTA podcast. This is your host Nandi, and I don't know if I sound any different to you guys today, but I want to tell you a little something. I got me a new mic, and the reason why I did so is because my other mic had like this omnidirectional thing going where it was picking up a lot of background noises, and that was causing me to put off doing podcasts because it's like it would seem to like never be a quiet time. Every time I was inspired to talk about something, the children were going, the TV was going, and I wasn't about to go lock myself in a closet just for some quiet time. I wanted to be able to record where I was, and while it might pick up like really loud background noise, for the most part, you would hear me. So I did a little research, and the same brand that I got my first microphone from, and it's the Fifine brand. I don't know if you're familiar with it. That's Fifine. The first one I got, it came with like the boom arm, the shock mount, the pop filter, the windscreen, for people who know what I'm talking about. And while it was a great mic, because they make some good quality stuff. I mean, their mics are made of like metal and steel, and it's not a lot of plastic parts to break up, and I mean, it's a really well put together mic. So I went in search of one to see if they had one that I had been reading up on, the cardioid mics, and I may not be saying that right because that Louisiana accent gets in the way sometimes, but I found out that they did have one for a really good price. And so I was reading the reviews between that one and the Yetis. And, of course, I think, Yeti is kind of like Apple. It has this cult following. There are people that's all they're going to buy. They're not buying anything else. So, but I don't like to be caught up in like, this is the only thing. That's like saying there's only one way to do something. I'm sure that there are some things in life where there's only one way to do it, but microphones, no, they don't fall into that category for me. But I saw that Fifine had a nice one. It's the K690. So I said, you know what? It doesn't cost much. It's less than $100. I'm gonna order that mic and check it out, see if I like it. Especially since it had that function, that feature. And as a matter of fact, it has 5 different features. It has the stereo feature, omnidirectional, cardioid, which is what I wanted, and bidirectional. So you can decide from any of those. It has a mute button. It also has let me see, what is that? It has the headphone. So I can plug in my headphone, which I have done, which I am doing right now at this time. I can plug in my headphone and I can hear my own voice. So that way I know how clear I sound when I'm talking, to you. And I can also hear if it's picking up background sounds. My other one from Fifine didn't have that feature, and I actually wanted that, and I was trying to get it by using it through my laptop, putting my headphones in my laptop, but for some reason my laptop was not cooperating, which means, the next thing on the list is a new laptop. But this one has served me well, so I'm not going to talk bad about it. Even if I replace it just for my podcasting and design and stuff like that, I'm still, this, as long as this one works, it's going to continue to be used. But I love that it has that microphone feature. It also has the gain on. Wait, does it? No. Well, it has the mic volume, which is like a gain for it. I'm looking around the mic as I talk, so if you hear my voice going in and out, since like I said, I have it set to cardioid right now, that would be the reason why. But it's USB plug and play. I use Audacity, which is a free open software audio program. I use that for my recordings, and I went through all of this telling you about this new mic. And really, that is not what my podcast was about. But it is, because in a way, I'm back. So I get to come back, and I get to, talk to people and not have to wonder about, if they're picking up more background noise than they are hearing what it is I want to say. And what I want to say, this one goes out to people with visions. And people who are working those visions, who have committed to those visions. You know how a lot of times, for those who are familiar with religion, you're going to understand what I'm saying from this perspective. When you go and you get saved for the first time, you want to go out and you want to tell everybody about it. You want them to feel like you feel, that joy that comes from this new journey that you're on, and you want to even convert them. You want them to see how beautiful it is and come and join the party, basically. Well, that's how it is when you've got a vision for something. You know, when something is inspiring you and motivating you, and you want to accomplish this goal, you want to see the achievements from it. You want to, not only do you, it's like it's too big to hold within just you. You want to tell other people about it too. So you go out and you start telling your friends, and you might share it with your husband and your wife and your mom and your siblings and your co-workers and all these different people. But I'm here to tell you, practice some discernment in who you tell, because everybody is not on your team. And I know that might sound negative. It might be like, well, how we got here? I thought you was fixing to get us all pumped up and happy about the fact that we committed to something and add something to it. Well, I am, because I have to let you know that at the same time, when you start getting this inspiration and motivation, there are some people who don't want to see you inspired and motivated. They don't want to see you doing things that they don't feel like they have the confidence to do. And so they'll start to do things to short circuit that. They'll start telling you things that are meant to erode at your confidence. And before you know it, that vision that you had it's sitting on a shelf somewhere. And you starting to feel some kind of way about it. And I know sometimes, I've even said it when people this goes out to all my haters. Like I said, I would never stand on stage and say, this goes out to all my haters. What I want those haters to see is the fruits of my labor, to see where my actions got me. To me, that speaks for me. I don't need any other words. I don't have to add any words to it, because my actions are going to show that. And that's what I was going to say about these people, the ones that would try to stifle your vision. Those people don't have to know about that vision until it's reached its conclusion, until you have achieved what it is you set out to achieve. And then you let that achievement speak for you. Because those types of people, if you don't watch it, you'll be doing what they're doing, nothing. And that's not what we all built for. A lot of us, we built for more than nothingness, more than nada, okay? So be careful and be discerning. So when you have a person that you're sharing your vision with, and they have all of these devil's advocate ideas about why it might not work and what you need to be watchful for, and we know that there are things that, some of the advice is sound. Some things we don't want to move too fast. We want to, we want to make it a marathon versus a sprint, and there are some contexts where you got to move on it quickly. But for those things, we understand that is sound advice. But there are certain advice where whenever you decide to share your vision, they're cutting you off. They're speaking to you as if you know none of what it is that you're setting out to do. Like they have all the answers, but they don't have a track record. And that's important. When you got people like that are trying to override your thoughts and tell you how you should see things and things you shouldn't do and whatever, look at their track record. What is their track record? Do they have a track record? And if they don't have a track record, then what the hell are they talking about? And why are you sitting there listening? So don't let people blow your candles out for you. That's your candle. Keep your candle lit. And the way to do that is to keep them in the dark. And when they come in, they're like, man, I had no idea that you were doing something like that. Yeah, man, I just wanted to get it done first. I didn't want nobody, coming around and, talking me out of it. So, and it's not that it's directed at them, but in a way it is, because they usually those kind of people, and that's why they didn't know. But they won't recognize it, but there will be that jealousy and animosity there. And then you know that, okay, yeah, that was a true hater. But like I said, sometimes the people who we think are the haters are people who actually have genuine concern for us. They really do support us. And then the other ones that we believe are supporting us are really the ones who are trying to extinguish our flames. And those people can even be people who are close to us. There are spouses who do that to each other. There are so-called friends who do that to each other. We even have relatives who will do that kind of stuff to us, and they'll do it under the guise that they care about what happens to us. Well, I don't want you to fail. Well, then how do you succeed? If nobody wants you to fail and you never attempt something that could lead to failure, then how do you ever succeed? Because sometimes we succeed in failing. Because in failing, you learn what it was that you needed to do versus what you did. But you will never know that if you don't attempt it. So when they come to you with all their high and mighty thinking about what you should and should not be doing and how this doesn't work and that doesn't work, I've had people tell me that in business, if I can't finance it with my paycheck, I should not be attempting to build business credit. And that's something I'm doing right now, is building business credit for one of my businesses. And I have actually recently been told that by somebody. Like, if your money from your paycheck can't pay for it, then you don't need to be doing it. And if your business hasn't realized a profit in 2 or 3 years, it's never gonna realize a profit. And we know that the basis is the majority of businesses. It takes them 5 years. Sometimes it can take them more than that to actually recognize a profit. So that's a person who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just throwing shit out their ass because they don't want you to keep moving forward. They don't want you to remain committed, because a lot of times those same people aren't committed to anything. They don't have a track record. So again, look for track records, and also look for that intuition that tells you that person is not on your team. You want people who are on your team. And even them, you don't want to badger them with what you're doing all the damn time. Okay? Because when you start talking too much, you're not doing what it takes. You don't have the focus that it takes for you to accomplish what it is you set out to accomplish. People who are busy, who are out there accomplishing shit, they don't have much time for talking all day, every day, because they're focused. And they're going to remain focused until they've gotten what they set out to get. So again, everybody's not on your team. Make sure you are on your team. This is Nandi. That's all I got for y'all today. Y'all be sure to like, subscribe, rate, and review my podcast. You can find it on most major podcast players such as Apple, Google, Spotify, Podchaser, and Captivate. Thank you for listening to the Codename SISTA Podcast with Nandi.